I'm sure a lot of the followers that are following me on YouTube are huge Halo fans. It's not a secret that my channel is centered around Xbox. And one of the biggest passions that I personally have is Halo. Halo is arguably the biggest title that Xbox has had and maybe one of the biggest titles that the gaming industry has ever seen. So that's why I do feel like this new entry called Halo Infinite is not only the most important Halo, but I think it's Xbox's most important game they've ever made. But before we get on with the video, definitely hit that like button if you guys enjoy the video. You can always subscribe for weekly content, and you can always follow me on Twitter at LordAddictIOP. Without any further ado, let's get on with the video. What's going on, you guys? GamingAd here, coming at you for another video. So, if you watch the intro, you know exactly what this video is about. This video is about the fact that I believe that Halo Infinite is the most important game that Microsoft has ever made. And this isn't just the most important Halo, I'm saying it as it's the most important game over all the Gears games, over all the Fable games, all the Forza Horizon games. This game might single-handedly break or make the Xbox brand. Now, I know the biggest argument's going to be is whether or not Halo Infinite is more important than Halo 1. And what I mean by that is Halo 1 kickstarted the brand. It was one of the games that really pushed the Xbox forward, and it's arguably one of the reasons the Xbox brand's even around today. And I think the reason that the Halo Infinite is more important to Microsoft as a brand than Halo Combat Evolved is the simple fact that when Combat Evolved came out, it was a new IP. It was something new, that was something hot. And it was at a time where the brand was just new. It wasn't to the point in reputation that Xbox is today. So I feel like right now, the reason Halo Infinite has a lot more weighing on its shoulder than Combat Evolved did is because it's trying to save a brand reputation. Halo Infinite helped create one, but I do believe that if Halo Infinite flops completely, and there's a difference between flopping and just doing okay and then doing amazing. If this game flops and it gets like a 60 Metacritic, I think it would be more devastating to the Xbox brand than if Combat Evolved back then failed. But that's just me, because I do feel like a lot of the consumers are going to say if they can't get Halo right, what makes me think they can get anything right? And I do think that's going to be one of the biggest criticisms, that if Halo Infinite does not succeed this holiday. So, you know, now that we've talked a little bit about Halo 1 and the relevancy that Halo had back then, let's talk a little bit about the 360 and what the Halo brand did in the 360 to bring it over to the Xbox One. Halo 3 was probably one of the most iconic games that was on the 360. I personally believe between it and the 360 Call of Duty games, they brought the first-person shooter genre into the new era. This is the type of success that I personally feel like Halo Infinite needs. It needs that definitive moment that when you see the product, you know it's going to be great. It needs that moment when you play the product, you know it's going to be amazing. And you know, the brand wasn't as bad as it is now in terms of Halo, but there's a lot of factors that comes into it. We have the entire Xbox One generation that really put the Halo brand in a bad place. I also think that 343 has yet to prove that they can make a Halo game that is up their top tier list like Bungie did. How are their games good? Sure. But their games aren't great. Their games aren't amazing. Halo 4, they hit the campaign out of the park and they messed up on the multiplayer. Halo 5, they hit the multiplayer out of the park and messed up as the campaign. As much as you don't like certain aspects that Bungie did back in the day with the 360, they usually hit it out of the park with both. So not only does Halo Infinite have to prove that the quality of the first party lineup for Xbox is amazing, but they also have to prove that 343 deserves the brand of Halo. Do they deserve to make these games? And we'll find out this holiday. But regardless what 343 or what Bungie did, the biggest reason that Halo Infinite is the most important game that Microsoft has ever made is just the state of what Xbox is in now. And what I mean by that is this is the only time that I've ever seen Xbox in a place that it is currently at. Is Game Pass popping? Yes, Game Pass is a very successful service. They have a lot of success when it comes to services. But the one thing that they always fall short on is the quality of their first party titles. And this comes a lot from how they went about with the 360. They didn't have their own studios that they built from the ground up. They relied on a lot of second party deals and a lot of second party timed exclusives that worked in their favor, but in the long run wasn't building up their own portfolio. It was just building the hype up for other studios that would have sooner or later go out and make games for other platforms. It's no secret that there's a lot of memes out there that say Xbox has no game. Do they mean that Xbox literally has no games? Of course not. What they mean is Xbox doesn't have a lot of games that appeal to, in my opinion, the hardcore audience. They don't have those blockbuster AAA titles anymore. If it's not Gears, Forza, and Halo, it does feel like all their other titles fall short. And it's one of the key reasons that I feel like Halo Infinite has a lot riding on it. It's a launch title for the Xbox Series X. It is the game that they've put out in the spotlight for their next generation. If that game flops, why would people even consider trying anything else? If they can't get Halo right, like I mentioned earlier, why can people, the consumers, the hardcore fan base, think they can get anything right? 343 has the unique chance that a lot of studios that currently are employed by Microsoft does not have. There are launch titles for the Series X. 343 can arguably and potentially make one of the best Halo games that's ever been out. And it can make the brand that has been attacked all generation for not having quality games completely come out on top. Sure, is it still Halo, Gears, and Forza for that particular instance because it is Halo? Yes. But with a strong launch, you can elevate the whole console. You could go from having the hottest thing out right now, and at the launch of a console, I believe that's one of the most important things, is what games can you play right now. And if Halo comes out and it's one of those critically acclaimed games and it's everywhere, everyone's talking about it, people will go out and they will buy an Xbox Series X for that game. Sure, some might actually download it on their PC through Game Pass, but there's a lot of huge amount of people that will buy a console because that's where their friends are. And if everyone's playing Halo on the Xbox Series X, guess where everyone else will be going? They will be going straight to the store to buy that Series X so they can play with their friends too. Because at the end of the day, that's exactly what happened with Halo 3. Everyone loved this game. This game was in the mainstream. Everyone went out and picked up a 360. Even when the consoles were red ringing. Keep that in mind, you guys. The consoles were overheating because they were not properly made for heat. So guess what would happen? One would think that if that would happen to you a couple times, you wouldn't buy a 360. But the Xbox brand had so much clout back then that instead of going to the competition, because at least they were making a platform that wouldn't overheat as much, people would go out and buy another console. Sure, some of them sent them in, but I have a lot of friends that went out and just bought another console because they didn't want to wait for that to come back. They wanted to play their Halo right then and there. And that is the type of success that Microsoft needs right now. This is one of the biggest key points that they need to revive their brand fully. Sure, they've been doing really good, but I feel like Halo Infinite is the gatekeeper to showing the consumers, to showing the Halo fans, we got you. You want quality? Here it is. But that's the end of the video, you guys. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm kind of curious, do you think that Halo Infinite has a shot of being an amazing game? There's always that scenario where the game is just average. Doesn't hurt the brand a whole lot, but it doesn't help the brand either. And I think right now, we don't need an average Halo. We don't even need a good Halo. We need a great Halo. We need an amazing Halo. And I think we'll see it. It's definitely amazing to know that we'll see that in the next couple months. But like I said, put that in the comment section below. What do you think Halo is going to be? Do you think it's going to be a good game? Do you think 343 has any chance? Because I know a lot of Halo fans are done with 343. But I'm kind of curious to your response, so definitely put that in the comment section below. This is Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace.